everyone, welcome to my channel. Once again, we do have the incredible Bonebridger and Jon Automates. I am so happy to have them back to discuss another trailer. We're going to be discussing Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese's newest film that just premiered at Cannes with rave reviews. And as always, the links to their descriptions will be in the their links in sorry, I'm like screwing
those
that up today.
things will be down there somewhere below us,
wherever they are.
Yes, you can find them in the description. And,
just generally click and you'll find something.
You'll find it, yes. So I would love to hear both of your thoughts from, I think it premiered this past week, the trailer for this film. What did you guys think?
Oh, John, this one, I have a little mixed feelings.
Oh, okay.
What was your initial impression? Now, did you know a lot about it before you watched the trailer?
I'd actually known the story.
Oh, okay. Now that's interesting because see, I didn't know the story. So what was your reaction?
I liked it. The only reason why I knew the story is because I when searching up things like about Black Wall Street and things like that, it actually came up. Oklahoma is has such a weird relationship with like history. Like there's some really bad things that have happened in Oklahoma to indigenous people of color, like in general, and it doesn't get nearly as talked about as a lot of other things that seemingly are more high profile but haven't been as disastrous as they have been in Oklahoma. So like I remember that's how I even came across the story in the first place, and then you kind of go down to we all been down YouTube rabbit holes, Wikipedia rabbit holes. I thought the trailer, I thought it was good. Like I didn't have, like, I'm interested. It got me interested to see it. And I thought it did a good job of building that interest without turning people off, because these kinds of movies can easily turn people off very quickly.
Mm-hmm. So my mixed feelings come from Scorsese, and I don't know, like I would never say Scorsese is bad in any way, but I didn't expect him to I feel like this is a style change for him, especially from like his recent movies. This one's going to have a little bit more, maybe a little more action, maybe a little more consistent pace. And I'm excited for that. Don't get me wrong, but it just caught me off guard because like the trailer's intense. The trailer sets up that this is going to be an intense, brutal story. Whereas his last movie was kind of like a slow, we're getting to this point and it's going to be very, very quick ending. This is going to be a long, multiple events are occurring, multiple things. And then, of course, I saw Brendan Fraser and I was like, okay, I have to see this. All my money immediately, take all of it. So, I mean, mixed feelings.
Yeah. And I feel like I don't know if you guys heard this quote recently, but Scorsese said something along the lines of he's like really sad that he's coming to the end of his life because he feels like now he's finally figured out filmmaking. Something along those lines. And that's so sad. Like I would be like, yes, just live on forever. Just make more films, He's such an incredible filmmaker, and he has gone outside of his, genre that he started, with the mob movies and the hard New York movies. He's tried so many different things. Most have been successful. This trailer to me was very haunting. It's got that hypnotizing like rhythm to it that just draws you in. I am so excited to see this. I think he got a pretty long standing ovation at Cannes, and it is supposed to be like over 3 hours long, but I think most of his films have kind of been around that runtime recently. I'm people might just unsubscribe right now, but I was not the biggest fan of The Irishman. I liked it, but it took me 2 settings to get through. And I don't know if it was just the De Niro character in that, but I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan, but
I can actually agree with that. It took me,
I'm on board too. Yeah.
It took me, I think 3, it took me 2 tries just to even get to it. And then when I did get to it, it took me like 3 or 4, all right, I'm gonna sit down and I don't know, and it had everybody in it, but it was I didn't
want to root for any of them though. Goodfellas and all these movies, there's someone you cheer for. Like there is a person, and this clearly has people you're going to cheer for, like Leo. Like there's going to be these multiple characters that are on the good side of things, which is nice to see, like that distinction in his movies, because the mob stuff, if you don't like put a character in there that stands out, it really blurs together. Like they're all, different levels of mobsters. Whereas like, I don't know, Goodfellas is a good example. You have one character that like his motivation was different. Like it wasn't, so here's my question for you all is, so Kane's had a pretty good reception, not as positive as I thought it would be, I guess, a little bit of a slight, but do you think that's expectation for Scorsese or the movie? Because I wonder if it's just,
That's a good question.
It is a good question. I don't know. Can sometimes I feel like they nail it on the head as far as the reception goes, and then sometimes I feel like certain films didn't necessarily track well there, and then they found a much bigger audience here. I'm not sure. You are kind of always anticipating his films, so it could be because the hype was so big that it's like, okay, well then let's be critical, like really critical over this like overly hyped movie, but maybe it's better on a second watch or something like that. It's so up in the air right now, in my opinion. What about you, John?
I think it is a Scorsese thing, because he's made some comments recently that like not the general masses, if you will, the masses don't really like, and
True.
I think that people like getting, and then Scorsese's very much old guard. He's 80 years old. Like he's a part of that old guard, old cinema, and honestly, you're kind of sad to see him go, because I'm really not a big fan of a lot of the new people coming up, but nevertheless, I think that was more geared towards him. And I think you're right. I think it's a little bit more of like let's be extra critical. And him just kind of being able to show, with the help of like Leo, with the help of Robert De Niro, Brendan Fraser, Lily Gladstone, I think.
I believe that's the name, yeah.
So like, you have these phenomenal people in it, and it almost looks like it can't be bad. And in some cases, I feel like critics that's not a thing they like to see or hear. No, I've got to find something. I think it'll be okay though. I think it still will have. I don't think it's gonna make the money it might be hoping to make, because it's a $200 million movie, but nevertheless,
right. Luckily, bankrolled by people that don't care about money at this point,
right.
Which is interesting distinction between like Universal with Oppenheimer and then like anything to do with Apple and Paramount. These people don't care anymore, it seems, which is odd because Paramount doesn't have endless money. So I got to ask both of you this then, and I love that this picture right here. I'm going to assume something. One of these guys is winning Best Actor. Like barring somebody coming out of the woodwork that really steps up, because the hype is so intense for these two.
I don't think that happens.
You think Curveball?
I don't think that happens.
Nominated for sure.
Nominated for sure. But let me give a slight tangent.
Vin Diesel.
Robert De Niro. Yeah, right. I wish. Vin Diesel, that movie. You know what the funny thing about that movie is? You never know. You never know with that movie. They do all sorts of things. If they got an award, no, we don't need to give Vin Diesel any more ideas.
No.
But what about Robert De Niro as Best Supporting? Because he's supposed to play William Hale, who is a really shitty guy.
He'll be up against De Niro too. And like they'll both be nominated.
He's gonna have to really channel in. I think he's gonna have to do what Leo did and Django, where Django's not really a good movie, but at the same time, Leo's performance in that movie is incredible. You hate the guy, like legitimately hate the guy, and I feel like that's what Robert De Niro is going to have to do here. He's going to have to really get you to hate him, and throughout the trailer, and people may not know the story of William Hale, they're going to learn through this movie, he is a bad guy.
Wow.
I think if Robert can channel that, he might win this.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great point. And Lily Gladstone, I believe, which I think that's her name.
Auto lock.
I think they're saying definitely for Best Supporting Actress, but I don't know if her runtime is long enough to be for Best Actress.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm not positive. I've heard both people say, "Oh, definitely a Best Supporting Actress or definitely Best Actress nomination." So we'll see once the film, once we all see it. But I think it's going to be huge at the award season. I mean, Leo's going to get nominated, I think, probably again, as well as Cillian Murphy. And Leo, to me, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like when he won Best Actor for The Revenant, it definitely, to me, felt like finally we're giving him an Oscar because he totally deserved one. But that personally wasn't, in my opinion, his best work.
No.
So like making that movie was really brutal and difficult. And I know he and Alfonso Cuarón both said like, there's no way we're doing a movie like this ever again. But what do you guys feel like? What do you guys feel like Leo should have won for? Regardless of who he was nominated against.
Man in the Iron Mask.
Oh, I need to rewatch that. Is that a joke? I haven't seen him in so long.
I'm gonna go with a joke, but I do really like him in that. To be completely honest, I feel the same way though. The Revenant though, him winning that year just felt like a handout, which is what I wonder. Like if I was thinking that happens occasionally, I don't feel like they can deny Murphy for Oppenheimer. Like I feel like it's the same. You walk down, he's another actor that everything he does is brilliant. It doesn't, so eventually he's got to get an award, right?
I think he should have won twice. I think he should have won for Django because of if they were willing, because you remember that movie 12 Years a Slave when that came out and that won everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gave a better performance than anyone in 12 Years a Slave, and I'm willing to debate that in terms
because
of,
it was real.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
In terms of like
real.
channeling it, I think he gave the performance was crazy. 12 Years a Slave, it's like, yeah, you didn't like those people you feared. You may have feared those people. You feared Leo in that role. So I think he should have won it for that. I also think he should have won it for Wolf of Wall Street.
I agree.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. That one's amazing too. Like,
yeah, I mean, he was everything in that role. Like, so it's things like that. And I do agree though that I think the little bit of the handout thing happened, but I also feel like Leo is that guy. He's not exactly a Tom Cruise kind of guy, but he's the kind of guy where they don't want to give him anymore, right? It's kind of like you represent this, and maybe they don't want that kind of representation anymore when it comes to somebody like Leo. So Murphy, I think, might have a better chance than DiCaprio, if that was my opinion, at least.
I could agree about that. Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else either of you would like to say about this trailer?
Starting the Oscar campaign right here. Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Best actor, best actress, actor, director, producer. He gets all of them.
He's not even the main actor in his own movie. If we're being honest,
we can't say that. We can't be derailing our platform here.
I'd give it to Jason Momoa before I gave it to Vin Diesel. Legitimately,
100%. That might be Momoa's best acting. Like that was good.
That's a shame. That's a shame. No, I think Killers of the Flower Moon is going to. I don't think it's going to make a lot of money. I think it's going to get a lot of streams once it like gets out of theaters and people start being able to watch from the comfort of their own home. I do think it's going to bring up some crazy. Like indigenous people don't get talked about a lot at all, and I think it might help kind of drive that conversation a little bit forward before it gets forgot about again because of the climate. But yeah, I think it'll have that kind of effect.
Well, I loved hearing both of your thoughts on this. Thank you so much again for joining. We do have Bonebridger and Jon Automates as always, and again, their information will be in the description down below. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me, and thanks to everyone for watching the channel, and thanks for stopping by.